broke down 4 guys that I think are going to be either people you're going to try to deal for in a trade, or could be salary cap casualties. Okay? Where is the biggest weakness now for Howie to still address this all season? Let's underscore one thing here, too. Remember something. C.J. Gardner-Johnson did not become a Philadelphia Eagle until 9 days before the start of the season. Howie was building the roster still a week out from the opener in September of last year. Christian, I like your thinking. Christian, I like your thinking. Okay? I like it. Let me bring these names up before we get to the topics. Linebacker, I agree, guys. Because you know what you can do with linebackers, too? You can also put them on your special teams. And it's a fail-safe for Nakobe Dean in case Nakobe Dean doesn't live up to what we actually think he can be. Fair? Okay. I do have Myles Jack on this list. I think Myles Jack at $11.5 million probably is going to be a little bit too rich for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they're building that roster back up again, especially when they're trying to put new pieces in the secondary back there. Myles Jack's $11.5 million contract is probably going to be a little too much for the Steelers and the Rooney family for them to be able to absorb. I see him either restructuring or going out in the open market and potentially landing in a place like Philadelphia. I would have great interest in somebody like Myles Jack. Why? Evaluated great. He's not being whacked in Pittsburgh because he's not productive. He's being whacked in Pittsburgh like James Bradbury was in New York because of money. You know, sometimes when you start making, look, the top end of linebackers in the NFL is $20 million. 11.5, that's rich for the Steelers. They don't spend that kind of money. I would love this. Myles Jack, Steeler. To the Eagles, I would dig this. I believe C.J. Mosley, who is reportedly going to make $21.4 million, not a chance. When you got to pay Aaron Rodgers next year $100 million, and you have to pay him $100 million. Mosley's a top-end linebacker in the NFL. I would love to have someone like this playing in the middle. By the way, I think they need to get experience in that linebacking core. I think you need experience. The Budda Baker deal, the more I think about it, the more it's a possibility. However, does Arizona cut him? This guy wants to get an Adams-type deal. He's not going to make $20 million. No safety's going to make $20 million. That's not going to happen. They're not doing that, what Seattle did a couple of years ago when they made that deal for the jet safety. Nobody's doing that anymore. Nobody's doing that. How about Chuck Clark, Baltimore, safety, 6.7. I think he's going to be a casualty because of the salary cap, and I think Baltimore end up because of the new contract they just gave Lamar Jackson. I think he could be one of these guys that Howie Roseman looks at after June 1. All right, which one of these 4 guys? Myles Jack, C.J. Mosley, Budda Baker, Chuck Clark. 2 safeties and a linebacker. I think these are the positions you need to look for when it comes to getting experience. Okay? But which one of these guys? C.J. Mosley? I like him. I think CJ Mosley is a player that could come into Philadelphia and solidify that defense. And let me just put it to you this way. If you get one of these 4 players on your defense, you could have the best defense in the NFC. Okay? They could have it. I'm going to get to Devin White here in a second here. They could have the best defense. One of these players could solidify that. Okay? For me, Myles Jack is probably the cheaper guy, but Mosley would be the one for me that I would like to have the Eagles pursue. Okay? I totally would. All right.